Hi everyone and welcome to this week's video. My name is Angel DeSantis. I'm a yoga instructor and I make videos on religious trauma, and if you've been enjoying them, be sure to hit like and subscribe because it does help. But the video that I'm going to do today is more in relation to trauma and my reaction to that. I was doing some work today that my therapist gave me homework. So I was doing my homework today and I kind of had a breakthrough in my mind and in my body, and so I wanted to come on here and share that with you. And it's about believing your own experience. And when you are a child raised in an abusive household, whether or not it's religious, sometimes, well, I'll just relate it to my experience. I was not believed a lot as a child. So I would go to an adult and say, like, hey, so and so is being cruel to me, or so and so hit me. And they would say, no, he didn't. Or I would be pulled aside and told that I was stealing, and I would say, no, I'm not, and I would get beaten. And so what I learned was, one, to not speak about my experience because it didn't matter, and two, that what other people told me about myself was true. Even if I didn't do it, even if I knew I didn't do it, they could come up to me and tell me, hey, you stole this, you need to confess. And I learned that it was easier to say, yes, I did, and confess than it was to say, no, I didn't, and get a beating. So I learned to not believe my own experience of myself, and I learned to believe other people's experience of me above my own. And when that's kind of the overlay that you, or the foundation that you go into the world with, for me, I got really lost in it, and I would get involved in relationships that were unhealthy because I would be told, you're selfish, um, you need to work on this, you're a bad person. And I was taught to believe other people's experiences of me and not to believe my own. And so as I was working through the homework that my therapist gave me, I came to the very important realization that I should have been believed all along. I was correct. I wasn't a liar as a child. I was accused of being a liar, but I wasn't a liar. Um, I wasn't a thief until I got accused of being a thief so much. I was like, you know what? May as well benefit. Um, but when you start life in an environment where nobody believes you, it's important to recognize that, because it might still be at play today, and it might still be underneath your personality or underneath your driving forces. Ask yourself, do you believe your own experience? Because if you don't believe your own experience, then what are you basing your life off of? What are you basing your decisions off of? If it's not yours, then whose is it? Whose life are you basing your decisions off of? It should be yours. And everyone makes decisions off of, one, their personal life experience, and two, their knowledge. And those are the two things that people base their decisions off of. And that should be what you base your decisions off of. It's your personal experience and your knowledge, which is why education is so important, because if you don't know about a subject, educate yourself on it, and then you can go off of your experience and your knowledge. But if you don't have that part of you that believes your own experience, then you start to believe other people. And then for me, I just kind of got lost in the wind of like, oh, this person said this, it must be true. But then it's like, somebody says the opposite, so that must be true. And then you don't know which one is right. You just know whatever you think is incorrect. And so I think it's really important to go in, find out, do you believe yourself? And also ask yourself, if you have that experience of telling adults, or telling your, whoever it was, somebody who was supposed to care for you, did you tell them something that was true but that was not believed? And if so, how often did that happen? Because that's important. And did you change your behavior if that happened often enough? And if so, how did you change it? And do you still maintain that today? And those are all really useful things to know. So as I was meditating today, I came up with a new mantra, because mantras for me are really helpful to really get a thought in my brain so that I remember it. And the mantra that I came up with today is that my experience is important and I should be believed. And those are the things that I believe are true, and I think it will really help me as I move forward, is that my experience is valid and I should be believed. And if you think about the other side of the coin, why would I be around people who don't believe my experience? Why would I be around people who don't believe me? If I say, hey, I'm feeling this way, and they say, oh, no, you're not. Like, you're being dramatic, or you're being this or that. And that is what I used to be surrounded with, is people who would invalidate my feelings, invalidate my experience, and tell me, oh, you're just, being too selfish, or you're just being too empathetic, or you're looking too much. And it's like, well, no, everyone has their own experience, and it's part of your base of knowledge. So your experience matters. And think about the times where you said something that was true and you weren't believed, because it did affect you to tell the truth and not be believed. And it probably, or it may have, manifested as changed behavior. And it's important to know that if you said something that was true and you weren't believed, it's likely that you might have modified your behavior. And if so, how did you do it? And is it still showing up today? So that was something that I wanted to come on here and say and share with y'all. And it is also important to remember that you are a work in progress, as am I. I think that sometimes if you're still in that sort of mindset of black and white, then you think a person is either broken or healed. And it's like, no, you're on a journey. People are constantly changing and evolving as we go. But what journey are you on? And for me, I'm really happy to say that I'm on a journey of healing, but it is constant and it is constantly evolving. And as I go through things, I hope to continue to be able to articulate them and share them with you. So I hope this was useful. And if you find something useful in it, leave a comment below. Or if you went through this and you found something useful for you, also leave it below. If you have links for me, I know that people see it and they benefit from it. So that was my spiel today. Ooh, wait, no, I have one more thing. Oh, talking about how I go through these memories. So as I was visiting this memory of being told that I was a liar when I was really sincerely telling the truth, the homework that I got is called TRE, and it has to do with tremors in the body, which is really interesting. I'll put a link up because it's a really interesting subject. And it's about your body being able to complete a tremor. So if you see a deer get chased by a lion, at the end of the chase, if the deer gets away, it literally shakes it off. And there's a tremor, like a trauma tremor in your body that the deer is able to just shake off. And as human beings, we have that as well. We have that response, and you can shake it off or cry it out, or it needs to leave your body somehow. And they ask you to go to a specific memory and just kind of let yourself think it and let your body work itself through it. And that is what I was doing. But I wanted to share that because I think that's really important. And then the other thing that I've also done is gone to a boxing class and just like boxed my way through a memory. But it's important to remember that the mind and the body are very, very connected. So if you watch this and you think, oh, you know what, something does come up, then find a way to think about it and put it in your physical body, or let your body complete the action of needing to be believed, or needing to feel the rage of not being believed, or feel whatever it is that you're feeling in a safe space. So I'm going to leave links to that below as well. And that's it. Thank you guys for being here. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you next week.